Hello students, as I was discussing administrative theory, today I will continue. Yesterday I compared Henry Fuel and F. W. Taylor. This was asked several times in BPSC, this year also expecting. But there is one more topic, that is administrative theory, in which there can be question on Lothar Gulick and Urvik also. There was question in BPSC, what is classical theory of administration? What are contribution of Lothar Gulick and Urvik in this theory? This question came twice. So I do hope that when you are doing administrative theory portion in totality, then you are also required to go through this topic. Getting a point? I told administrative theory is very important theory. It developed in first half of 20th century. Getting point? Then there was, you can say, efficiency derived movement in America. The first half of America, 1900 to 1950, is characterized by era of efficiency, and during this period, this theory became popular. This theory is named by various, it has various names like classical theory of organization, administrative theory, formal organization theory, structural theory, then administrative management theory, then you can say management process theory, etc. This theory is developed by Henry Fuel, and Henry Fuel assumes the same position in this theory what F. W. Taylor assumes in scientific management theory. This theory, is basically similar in several respects with scientific management theory, and they have strong, significant dissimilarity also. Getting point? Like scientific management theory focus on soft floor level, this theory focus on higher level or top level, you can say. Scientific management theory works on worker, this theory concentrate on manager. Scientific management theory believes in technique, this theory believes in principle. Scientific management theory has functional approach, this has a structural approach, so there are significant differences. This theory is basically made by or chaired by or propounded by Henry Fuel, Lothar Gulick, Lyndall Urvik, Munir Rayleigh, Mary Parker Follett, then R. Sheridan, etc. Get a point? Munir Rayleigh, R. Sheridan have also contributed significantly, but 2-3 persons like Henry Fuel, then Lothar Gulick and Urvik are the most important scholar of this theory. The most important, you can say, proponent of this theory. This theory considers administration as a science, and like science, administration has certain principles. So, discovering principles for administration is the major concern. Getting point, this theory considers or values that organization or administration is sum total of principles. Getting point, this theory reached its peak in 1937, when you can say the article written by Lothar Gulick and Urvik, Papers on the Science of Administration, published. In this article, Lothar Gulick and Urvik pointed out that after studying various human organizations, we can develop certain principles of administration. These principles can be studied as a technical question and can be applied in all sorts of organizations. Getting point? So this is the basic concern of this theory. Getting point? So what I mean to say, today we are doing administrative theory, or you can say it is basically classical theory of organization. Today is 5th May 1920. Today is Tuesday. Get a point? We are discussing administrative management theory or administrative theory or classical administrative theory. This theory developed in the first half of 20th century. This theory believes that administration is science, and like science, administration has certain universal principles. This theory believes that organization is consisted of a sum total of certain principles on the basis of which planning can be done, competent persons can be appointed, work division can be achieved, and coordination can be ensured, and efficiency and performance can be attained, maximized. So this is basic point. There is no confusion at all. So what is the basic theme of this theory? Basic theme is that administration is science, and like science, administration has certain universal principles. These principles are applied to achieve efficiency and performance in organization. This theory believes that organization is sum total of principles, and on which planning can be done, organizing can be done, work division can be pointed out, and efficiency, economy, and performance can be achieved. Getting point? So here all scholars have tried to discover principles of administration. As for example, Henry Fayol developed 14 principles of administration, Luther Gulick developed 10 principles of administration, Urwick in the beginning 8, and later on 29 principles of administration, Monet O'Reilly 4 principles of administration, etc. Getting a point? So this is that. But I will discuss in brief about Henry Fayol. Although I have discussed about him in detail yesterday, but let me start this topic with Henry Fayol so that there is continuity of the thought also. So I told Henry Fayol is father of or chief proponent of administrative theory or classical theory. His book, the name of book was Industrially et General Administration. It came in 1916 in French and it was translated in English in 1929. Industrially et General Administration. Get a point? Then I told Henry Fayol is basically given valuable consideration with regard to classical theory. He told that today we are not confronted with several administrative sciences. We have one science of administration whose principles can be applied for all affairs, no matter whether it is public or private. Getting point? Henry Fayol's contribution to organization can be discussed under following three heads. First, you can say industrially et General Administration, 1916. Get a point? Which is known as Industrial and General Administration in 1929 in English. Get a point? So he has given his contribution can be discussed as the following three heads. So what can be heads you can point out here? First you can say activities of an industrial organization, then elements of administration, and third, principles of administration. Under this topic, activities of industrial organization, he pointed out 6 activities of industrial organization, like commercial activity, first technical activity, which is main, converting input into output, second commercial activity, third financial activity, fourth security activity, fifth accounting activity, and sixth administrative or managerial activity. According to Henry Fayol, out of these six activity, managerial or administrative activity is the most important one because it combines all activities in as a in totality and try to achieve the organizational goal and objective. Getting point? He, under this one, elements of administration, he identified 5 elements of administration that is called POCOC, P-O-C-C, planning, organizing, command, coordination, control. It is like postcode, what Luther Gulick and Urwig developed. Getting point? The first elements of administration is planning, second elements of administration is organizing, then command, then coordination, then control. Get your point? Now, under this one, principles of administration, Luther Gulick, Henry Fayol identified 14 principles. Get your point? Henry Fayol. 14 principles. So what are 14 principles? Do you remember? Yes. 14 principles are, first division of work and specialization. The first very important principle is that there should be division of work and specialization. Number 2, principle of authority and responsibility. Third, principle of discipline. Fourth, principle of unity of command. Fifth, principle of unity of direction. Sixth, principle of subordination of individual interest to general interest. Next, principle of remuneration of personnel. Then principle of centralization. Then principle of scalar chain. Principle of order. Principle of equity. Principle of stability of tenure of personnel. Principle of initiative and principle of esprit de corps. There are 14 principles about which he told this is neither first list nor last list. Means it can be added or subtracted more principles as per requirement. He told that any component which helps to understand human elements in organization or helps in achieving efficiency in organization can be associated as principles of administration. He told the principles of administration are not rigid like laws. It is flexible. They are flexible and can be capable to adjust with all sorts of organization, all sorts of situations. He even told then seldom we use same set of principles in same identical condition. We require to change as per situation. We do always. So there is no hard and fast that we have to do this way or that way only. Getting point? Henry Fayol also pointed out, despite this flexibility, codification of administration, principle of administration is must. Because in absence of principles, you are in dark, you are in chaos, you are in disorder. These principles are like lighthouse which help only to those who know their destination. Getting point? So Henry Fayol is very important when he compared the principles of administration as lighthouse helping those who know their destination. Getting point? In continuance of this theory, Luther Gulick and Urwig came. You can say Luther Gulick and Urwig forwarded the ideas of Henry Fayol. Getting point? They have written an article, Papers on the Science of Administration in 1937. This is, you can say, the peak of this theory. This theory is this article is the most popular one, in which they pointed out that after studying different human organizations, we can develop certain principles of administration which can be studied as technical questions and they can be applied in all sorts of purposes and organizations. Get a point? So principles of administration is the major concern of Luther Gulick and Urwig also. They have also given thrust on a structure dimension of organization. They consider They gave emphasis that without integrating structure part with other part of organization, you cannot develop the overall idea about of an organization. The structure part is very important. While ignoring it, it would be difficult for mankind to develop information or idea about an organization. The structure is very important to him. Organization is design process, and without design, organization is cruel, organization is wasteful, organization chaos, organization is disorder. So that is why they emphasize on codification of principles, which are, you can say, which facilitate a structure of organization and which direct getting point to achieve efficiency and performance of organization. Getting point, Luther Gulick and Orwig have developed different set of principles. Getting point, Luther Gulick identified 10 principles of administration. Getting point, what are the 10 principles? Can you tell me? Yes. First principle, you can say division of work or specialization. Number 2, basis of departmental organization, that is 4 P's. Number 3, coordination through hierarchy. Number 4, coordination by ideas. Number 5, coordination through committees. Next, decentralization. Next, unity of command. Next, line and staff. Next, delegation. And last, span of control. So Luther Gulick identified how many principles? Luther Gulick 10 principles. Get a point? And he pointed out that division of work is the most important one, because he considered that division of work is the reason or basis of organization. It is reason of organization. If there is no work division, there is no organization. He told that division, you can say division of work and integration. Division of work and integration are bootstraps by which mankind lives itself in the process of civilization. We are here today. At a point we achieve this level of development. It is only through help of the division of work and especially integration. Division of work, integration. Division of work, integration. Like in communication, you can say in science and technology, particularly IT field, you can understand it properly. We develop first 1G, then we adapted it. Then we developed 2G, then we adapted it. Then 3G, we adapted it. 4G, we are adapting. 5G, we are supposed to adapt. So this is the basic point. So development, adaptation. Development, adaptation are two things through which we can lift ourselves to this level of civilization. Get a point? So this is a very important thing. Luther Gulick developed 4 P's principle. Get a point? What is 4 P's principle? 4 P means all departments of government are based on 4 P's. First is called purpose. Second is called process. Third is called person. Fourth is called place. For example, HRD, Department of HRD is based on purpose. Law Department, Law Ministry is based on process. You can say women SC/ST is based on person, social justice empowerment, and Foreign Ministry is based on place. So all ministry and department are based either on this or this one. Get what? This is the basic thing. Clear? Luther Gulick also developed a very important thing that is called postcode, which is, you can say, the identifying feature of public administration. So what is postcode? It is, you can say, elements of administration. Like Henry Fayol identified POCO and he identified 5 functions of elements of administration. Lothar Gulick identified 7 elements of administration: planning, organizing, staffing, directing, coordinating, reporting, busting. So these are elements of administration. Getting point? So this is very important thing to understand. Clear? There is no difficulty at all. So I do hope Lothar Gulick, it is all about Lothar Gulick. In the same way I told that Urwig also identified first 8 principles of administration. Lothar Urwig, Lindell Urwig identified 10 principles or 8 principles. What are 8 principles? Principles of objective, principles of correspondence, principles of responsibility, principles of a scalar principle, then principle of a span of control, principle of a specialization, principle of coordination, and principle of definition. Means in all organization, all 8 points are given important position. In all organization, definition is important. In all organization, coordination is important. In all organization, specialization is important. In all organization, objectives are important. So here, what do you mean by these things are omnipotent in all organization? That's why they are called principles of administration. In 1943, getting point, Lindell Urwig written one book that is Elements of Administration, and he developed 29 principles of administration. Earlier 8, later on 29. In exam, one is supposed to write 29 principles. If someone does not know in total, then at least he try to write as much as possible. Like you can say principles of authority, principle of centralization, principle of command, principle of control, principle of coordination, principle of delegation. How he developed 29 principles? He summed up all principles developed by various scholars like F.W. Taylor, like Henry Fayol, like you can say Lothar Gulick. He summed up all principles and developed 29 principles. Get a point? So in general, you can say Lothar Gulick and Urwig. You can also be known as chief proponent of administrative theory. Someone does not consider Henry Fayol a chief proponent. They consider Lothar Gulick and Urwig a chief proponent. That's why in BPSC, question was asked, what is classical theory of administration? Discuss contribution of Lothar Gulick and Urwig to this theory. The question was asked. So this is very important that Lothar Gulick and Urwig assumes a peculiar theory. And this theory, some other thinkers are also here, like Monnet or Rayleigh. Monnet and Rayleigh are important personality. They are considered first in America to formulate this theory in 1931. Get a point? The name of their book was Onward Industry. Get a point? Onward Industry. This book was re-edited, republished in 1939 as Principles of Administration, Principles of Organization. The same book in 1939 is the Principles of Organization. J.D. Monnet or S.C. Rayleigh elaborated or formulated this theory in America and made it popular. They were highly influenced by Henry Fayol. They also believed on the universality of principles. They confirmed that codification of principle of administration is essential for efficient functioning of organization. That's why Monnet or Rayleigh developed 4 principles of administration. 2 principles that borrowed from Henry Fayol and 2 developed their own. What? Principle of coordination, principle of line and staff, principle of a scalar process, principle of functional definition. These Four principles are developed by whom? Monet and Rayleigh. Monet and Rayleigh is also known for developing organizational chart and manual. Getting point? So that's why Monet and Rayleigh assumes important position in this theory. Getting point? In classical theory or administrative theory, there is one Mary Parker Follett who assumes very significant position. Mary Parker Follett is considered bridge between classical theory and behavioral approach. She is considered first human relation theorist. Getting point? Chronologically, she belongs to classical era, and philosophically, she belongs to behavioral era. Whatsoever she developed are still very relevant. Getting point? So, since she belongs to classical era by chronology, that's why we try to keep her under classical theory. Otherwise, she is not classical theorist, and she did not believe in principles of administration. So, whatsoever she has developed, we can point out as principles of administration, but in fact, they are not principles of administration as per her own thought. She has written one book, Creative Experience, in 1924 and pointed out several opinions. And first, she developed the principles of constructive conflict and integration. She told conflict in organization is common phenomena. It's natural phenomena. It is bound to be. So the conflict should be resolved constructively. Get a point? And principle of integration should be pointed out to address the conflict because it will find out some new solution. That's why principle of integration is suggested. Get a point? She told giving of order to others is not very easy work because it causes resentment. So you should develop how to give order to others so that it does not resent anyone. Then what you should do? Depersonalize order. Means it should seem that no one is giving order. It is a situation which is giving order. Getting point? So I do hope depersonalizing of order will ensure acceptance of order by subordinates. Then she gave another new concepts, new definitions of power. She divided power into two heads, power over and power with. Power over means what? Power superimposed from above. And power with means power co-developed with other also. When she told power over is not advantageous, not very helpful for long run. So organizations should develop what you can say power with, in which power of senior should develop with power of subordinate also. She has also given definition of a new concept of authority, responsibility and command. She told delegation of authority is myth. Why? Because she told that authority is basically functional. So when there is authority is transferred, then it also carries responsibility. So there is no delegation of authority. That's why she criticized delegation of authority and termed as just myth or proverbs. Made a point? Now, she also discussed about leadership. To her, leader is a person who can see the situation around him and know how to shift from one situation to another. She also pointed out circular response, means leader does not influence environment, but also get influenced by environment. That is circular response. And last, Mary Parker Follett has given consideration over integration and coordination. She termed planning as heart of coordination, and she pointed out four, you can say, dimension of coordination. Getting a point. So Mary Parker Follett As I told, it's not mentioned in syllabus, not you are supposed to write in exam, but particularly for BPSC, but in UPSC, there are specific questions asked on Mary Parker Follett, all and nothing. So this is the thing you require to keep in mind. Get your point? So I discussed Henry Fayol, I discussed Lothar Gulick and Warwick, Mooney O'Reilly, then Mary Parker Follett also, all about administrative theory, classical theory of administration, then you can say management process theory. This theory is very important in this regard because it considers administration as a science. This theory is also important because it considers administration as separate activity which requires a specific investigation. Get your point? Then this theory also developed several new concepts which were popular in management. This theory enriched public administration with new concepts like postcode, POCOC, etc. This theory facilitated public administration in formulating rational, efficient theory formulation. Get your point? And this theory also played very important role in stimulating and rationalizing production in industrial organization. Get your point? So there are several achievements of this theory. What first achievement? Administration is science. Second achievement, administration is separate activity, needs separate intellectual investigation. Number 3, enrich public administration with concepts of management. Fourth, developed new concepts and made familiar with public administration like postcode, POCOC, etc. Next, played a very important role in making organizational structure rational, efficient, scientific. Then it played a very important role in stimulating and rationalizing production in industrial organization. Get your point? So it has certain positive point. That's why this theory is considered a very important one. Get your point? But like other theory, it is also subjected to certain criticism. So what are criticism of this theory? Can you tell me? What are criticism? Yes. This theory is unscientific, dubbed as unscientific theory of organization, because critics says this theory is not developed on scientific conditions. That's why it is unscientific theory of organization. Number theory, this theory neglected the human dimension of organization. It does not work on social psychological dimension. Getting a point? That's why Warren Bennis termed this theory as theory of organization without people, and Simon and Marsh told this theory as machine model. Getting point? This theory describes human beings, getting point, in isolation from his group. So it considers human being an atomistic, like atom. The atoms are independent of each other. It considers individuals are also independent of each other, which is not true. Individual cannot be separated or taken as isolated from other group. He is a social animal and very much wants to be his group. Next, this theory is voluntaristic also because it considers that human beings are immune to social control, which is not possible. Human being is subjected to social control. But this theory, since consider this one, that's why it is criticized. Next one, this theory is criticized as mechanistic theory because it does not discuss on organizational dynamics. Getting point? This theory is severely criticized by Herbert Simon because he considers the theory principles developed by this theory are proverbs or myth. Getting point? This theory is also criticized that it does not take the social psychological dimension of human motivation. It considers only economic dimension of motivation. Getting why? This theory is also called normative theory. It does not take the actual situation taking place in organization. Next, this theory is static model. It does not take consideration the environmental aspect. It considers organization as closed model. Last, this theory discusses on formal organization only and neglected informal part of organization. That is very important one. So if someone asks you, point out 5 limitations of classical theory, then first limitation you can point that Herbert Simon criticized this theory as unscientific one, because the principles developed by theory are proverbs or myth. Number 2, this theory is criticized for incomplete view of human dimension organization. It considers only the economic dimension and overlooks the social psychological dimension. This theory is mechanistic because it does not consider the organizational dynamics one. Number 4, this theory is static because it does not consider the environmental aspect. This theory focuses on only formalized organization and does not focus on informal organization. Getting point? So these are some important limitations. That's why this theory is basically criticized. But today we have several theories, and the limitation of this theory, getting point, led further research and investigation. So we have today several theories, and this theory all theories are equally plausible and significant. But what about administrative theory? Administrative theory and its findings are still important. Several principles developed by theory are still very much important, and they constitute the elements of science of administration of present public administration, like principle of coordination, principle of centralization, decentralization, principle of authority and responsibility, principle of delegation, are those no one can afford to defy them. No one can afford to ignore them. They are very much important and very important elements of science of administration. Even this theory developed in 1937 or something like, this theory got manifested its recommendation in the most prestigious administrative reform committee like Brownlow Committee 1937 and First and Hoover Commission of USA 1949 and 1955. This theory is supposed to be a very important one. That's why you can conclude this theory has, you can say, popular and contributed the efficiency drive in public administration in 21st part of 20th century. That's why whensoever efficiency is important, like scientific management theory, this theory is also important for its principles. The principles developed by this theory like centralization, decentralization, delegation, coordination, and you can say scalar chain, then you can say command control are still very much important and they still constitute the important elements of science of administration. Okay, so you try to write one question. Question is, what is classical theory of organization? Discuss contribution of Luther Gulick and Urwig to this theory. You write it on and post to me. And if you have any difficulty, you can talk to me. Okay, all the best. Enjoy.